Good evening. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Shea. It's a beautiful day, 46 degrees currently in Peoria as we made a run towards 50 earlier this afternoon. All remains quiet. It's been breezy, but the wind speeds will continue to decrease. Meanwhile, it's 44 from Bloomington to Pontiac, and as we go through tonight, skies mostly clear, pretty uneventful overall. We are keeping an eye on a storm system that'll bring mainly some rain to the area late this week. We'll have more on that forecast coming up. WMBD News at 5 starts now.
First tonight, the Trump administration announcing today federal funding will be temporarily paused, but that's now been blocked by a federal judge minutes before it was set to go into effect. This stay pauses that freeze until Monday. So earlier today, a two-page memo explained that the pause will give the administration time to review and determine the best uses for that federal funding.
Now, Illinois' Attorney General joined 5 others this afternoon in filing a lawsuit against the administration, calling it an unconstitutional action. Our Ben Freeze joins us in studio to break down this for us. Ben, what can you share?
Yeah, Thomas, Rebecca, joined by attorneys general from California, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, Illinois AG Kwame Raoul was part of filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration due to a pause of funding federal assistance programs. Now, this could affect a range of programs from federal student loans to school meals for low-income students. The lawsuit seeks a court order to stop enforcement of the pause, which they say would impact millions of people. Raoul believes this to be unconstitutional.
January 20th was an inauguration, not a coronation. Congress is given the power to appropriate the funding. The executive branch cannot unilaterally disregard those appropriations passed by a separate and equal House of Government.
Now, about an hour ago is when that federal judge temporarily blocked the pause, and it is not immediately known what impact this will have on the lawsuit. Rebecca?
All right, Ben, thank you. And this is a very fluid situation as the day continues. But before this blockage, WMBD's Jack Bozikis spoke with U.S. Congressman Darren LaHood and Eric Sorensen today. So, Jack, tell us, this has been a big talker of the day. Could this potentially have some massive impacts on lots of people here at home, or how are they actually dealing with all these changes?
Yeah, Rebecca, this executive order could have major implications on health services, small businesses, millions of students that rely on Pell Grants, veterans, and much more. Reactions to the news that the White House has paused federal funding grants for a review fell largely along party lines. Following the pause on all federal funding and federal grants late Monday night, many Democrats like Congressman Eric Sorensen were outraged with the announcement. But on the other side of the aisle, Republicans like Darren LaHood tended to look at the pause as a positive move to save taxpayer dollars.
We worked across the aisle to make sure that we could bring the funding here to Peoria, only to have the president issue a statement today that says that's not going to be possible anymore. But right now, we do need the clarity. We need the clarity from the executive branch and from the Trump administration so that we understand how many people, how many neighbors are going to be impacted.
I think with a new administration coming in and what they ran on, again, bringing down our debt, getting the economy back on track, making sure tax dollars are spent the right way, a review and a pause can be a positive thing long-term for taxpayers.
Now, I spoke with a representative from Heartland Health Clinic today who said they're concerned about the impact this executive order will have, but they're committed to work with the Trump administration. They'll remain open and fully operational. They were supposed to receive more than $550,000 grant dollars today from the Health and Human Services Department, but that was canceled. The pause will remain in effect until February 10th. Rebecca?
Jack, thank you. Well, Normal's Mayor Chris Coos is in Washington, D.C. today talking with Illinois Senator Dick Durbin. The pair talked about federal funding for the town following President Trump's executive order to pause disbursement of dollars through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. During the meeting, they specifically mentioned the Uptown Connector pedestrian underpass project. The goal is to offer walkers and bicyclists safe access to and from Constitution Trail and the North-South Amtrak platforms. It's now estimated to cost around $30 million, with 91% of that bankrolled by federal and state funding streams. The duo also discussed housing developments to keep up with demand. And coming up later in the show, we will continue to follow this developing story. And after weather, we'll dive more into the impacts of the directive to pause federal funding.
In the Twin Cities now, one plastic manufacturing company is showcasing why its technology is important for small businesses. This afternoon, Midwest Molding Solutions, Inc. in Bloomington giving Congressman Darren LaHood a tour of the facility. Now, business leaders demonstrating their versatile technology, which specifically helps local small businesses in all types of industries. The company showcasing everything from toys to swimming pool race lines to Rivian charging ports to bands that help farmers identify their cows.
In Pekin now, it's a new year, their 201st year to be exact.
Yes, WMBD's Alex Berger went to their State of the City address at the Pekin Library, and he tells us what the city's vision looks like, starting with the mayor. Alex.
2 centuries of history for Pekin is a big deal. The city has been around for 3/4 of the life of the U.S. and it's just months older than Peoria County. Now, city leaders are trying to create a financially healthy and even more business-friendly future.
The plan for the future is to market, make that city grow.
In Pekin's State of the City address, residents and business owners showed up to hear a progress report on their community and a vision for the future.
We are going in the right direction. We are stable now. I want people to believe in us and to know that our finances are in order to make this city grow.
The Pekin Finance Department is currently working to pay off pension debt at a faster rate, along with organizing the yearly budget, and they are in the process of the 2023-24 fiscal year audit. Pekin is the second largest city in the major metropolitan area, but Mayor Amy Burris says it still feels like a small town.
Even though we're almost 32,000, it's still a tight-knit community. And people do look out for their neighbors. Businesses look out for another business. They want to see it thrive.
Pekin's Fire Chief Trent Reese was recognized by Mayor Burris for being named in Peoria Magazine's 2023 class of 40 under 40. He says he loves working in his hometown.
When I first set out, I was just happy to work in the community I grew up in. Graduated from Pekin High School, raising my kids in a family home that they're the 4th generation to live in. Being on the department felt like the success of my life. And here we are today, and it's an honor.
He says events like the State of the City are necessary for prosperity.
It takes meetings like this to be in this room to really remember, you have the community support. They know what you're here to do. I always say, we burned the boats when we got here. There's only forward. We can only move forward.
Continuing to grow the business landscape and moving forward on significant road projects like Court Street are some of the city's biggest priorities for the year.
All right, Alex, thank you. And high school basketball fans, get ready. We have your hoops tonight. Starting at 7 p.m. on Game Day Live on the CI Proud Sports Network. The Limestone Rockets are visiting the Dunlap Eagles. I'll be at that game grabbing highlights. Plus, the Pekin Dragons face off with the Washington Panthers. You can watch both of those games on Game Day Live on the CI Proud Sports Network.
And still to come, a freeze on federal grants and loans, sparking backlash and uncertainty. We'll have the latest on who the Trump administration says could be impacted.
It's been a pretty decent day. Temperatures topping out at 50 in Peoria. There's a look at our almanac. Started off cool, low 22, high of 50 degrees. Tomorrow might be a bit cooler, but don't worry. Looks like the 50s will be back sooner than later. We'll have your forecast coming up next.
You're watching WMBD News, Central Illinois Proud, with Rebecca Brumfield, Thomas Garverick, and Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast. This is WMBD News at 5. Forecast first, sponsored by Liberty Village, Peoria and Pekin. Simply the finest in affordable retirement living.
Good evening, I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. The snow is starting to pick back up a little bit as the final round now begins to push in. 34 degrees. It is another wet, sloppy snow that we are once again dealing with here in central Illinois. This will be the final push, though, but we've got to deal with it for the next couple of hours before things eventually start to taper off. While the snow is going to wind down, the wind speeds will be picking up throughout the evening. We'll have more on that and a look at another system on the way, all coming up. WMBD News at 5. Starts now.
I'm already out here in Peoria taking a look at our sloppy snow. I'll give you a little more details on how we're doing out here coming up.
Also, road conditions around our coverage area are worsening. The message the Peoria Department of Public Works has for you.
Plus, avoiding deadly dangers, the #1 accidental cause of death in the area. Why the answer may leave you surprised.
But first tonight, Central Illinois is seeing its first winter storm of the year, and we've got you covered with all things snow.
Yes, we do. And one of the concerns that's on many people's minds is the roads. Will they be plowed?
And we do have team coverage tonight, starting with an update from Peoria Public Works. And our Jack Bazikis was out this morning driving on those roads. He joins us live in studio now. So, Jack, how are the roads out there?
Yeah, Rebecca, Thomas. Due to road conditions, it took me an extra 15 minutes to get to work this morning. Now, snow crews have been working around the clock to help improve the roads for those headed into work. Every driver is working in 12-hour shifts around the clock and will keep going until all Peoria roads have been cleared and salted. The main roads remain wet, but they are still drivable. Residential streets are slushy and passable. Peoria Public Works Communications Specialist Nick McMillian gives some tips on driving in winter weather conditions.
That heavy wet snow is going to be a challenge to where as the temperature drops, it's going to be a little tricky overnight, but our crews will still be out on 12s addressing those areas and addressing any refreeze areas.
The Department of Public Works will continue to focus on main roads in Peoria until snowfall officially stops. Then they will work on residential streets. Thomas?
Jack, thank you so much. Now let's go ahead and turn to our chief meteorologist, Chris Yates, for more on road conditions and what we can expect later tonight. Chris?
Hey, Thomas, winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories remain in place across central Illinois. And as Jack mentioned, a lot of the roads right now, at least the main ones, are wet. But as soon as you get off those onto those side streets, you're going to deal with a lot more slush. And as the evening goes on, you'll start to see a little bit more actual snow building up on the roads once again. But winter storm warnings in the west, winter weather advisories remain in place to the east. Here's a look at some snowfall reports. 7 inches Knoxville, Farmington 6 inches, 5.5 Trevoli, North Peoria around 4, Washington already up to about 3.5. Now keep in mind, some of those reports are still a little bit old, and we're actually going to add more to those totals. The radar continues to fill in a little bit. We are expected to see an additional 1 to 2 inches of snow over much of central Illinois through the remainder of the evening, perhaps even some slightly higher amounts as you get up north towards Interstate 80. Now, meteorologist Molly Naisland is out braving the cold and the snowy weather. Molly, how's it going out there?
Well, Chris, the snow has really started to pick up. I can't hardly see my lovely camera operator because of how much snow is coming down. But something really important to kind of keep in mind is that this is the wet, heavy snow that's actually kind of hard to kind of sweep up, clear up. So you want to make sure that when you are shoveling the snow that you're not lifting, that you're actually pushing the snow forward and out of the way. And make sure that if you do have to lift, you lift with your knees and not your back to stay safe. And of course, you want to make sure that you're taking breaks when you're shoveling as well. And stay warm. I haven't been out here that long, but my cheeks are already ice cold right now. So you want to make sure that you're staying bundled up when you're outside. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Molly. Hey, make sure you stay warm, and didn't think that we were going to get some tips on shoveling some snow tonight. So thank you so much for you guys doing that. And we have all your storm coverage and updates right now on our website, ciproud.com, and our CI Proud to Go weather app.
And looking at the snowstorm from around the Midwest now, this is video from just this morning in snowy Sioux City, Iowa. Now, the former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley this morning forced to cancel one of her events because of the snow. Come Monday next week, it's projected to be -3 degrees in Iowa going into caucus voting night. The candidates, including former President Donald Trump, already urging their supporters to not get complacent despite the frigid temperatures.
And while the snow pours down on us and temperatures continue to drop here, scientists have come out and said that 2023 was the hottest year on record. The Earth shattered global annual heat records last year, and the warming is expected to continue. According to the European Climate Agency, the temperature was 1.48 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial times. That's just below the 1.5 degree limit countries agreed to in the 2015 Paris Climate Accord to prevent global warming. Experts say the urgency of climate action has never been more important.
Switching gears now, avoiding deadly dangers. That's the hope from the coroner's office in Peoria County. The department recently reviewing the top reasons for untimely deaths in the area, and the top one might surprise you. Peoria County Coroner Jamie Harwood said falls are the #1 cause of accidental death. He says the category typically encompasses those 65 years old and older. Drug overdoses last year were up compared to 2022. Harwood says fentanyl and xylazine are found in drugs, which leads to death.
Which is a heavy tranquilizer used usually in veterinarian medicine that's made its way into the drug supply here in Peoria. And unfortunately, it's Narcan resistant. And so if someone has xylazine in the drug that they're using, it's going to be resistant to that Narcan, making it extremely difficult for them to be revived.
The coroner's office is leading a preventative effort to reduce infant deaths, and he says it's working. In 2021, Harwood says 6 infants died. In 2023, the department recorded 1 death.
And we're following up on a safety in Peoria Public Schools. Last year, Peoria Public Schools and Peoria Police Department launched a new tip line called Tip 411. Since the launch, they're seeing the results of the new system. The previous anonymous tip system didn't allow for the police to respond to the user who sent in the tip. Tip 411 allows the user to send in anonymous tips and for an officer to then actually respond to the tips for more information. Director of School Safety for Peoria Public Schools, Demario Boone, provided an example of the tip line in action.
They saw a person who was identified as possibly one of our students on Instagram with a firearm. Found out it was a fake BB gun that was still, removed from the home. I was able to get the tip, identify who they were. An officer was at the house within 20 minutes, and we were able to close the case.
You can find a link on our website, ciproud.com, that will take you over to the anonymous tip website.
News out of Washington, D.C. impacting students right here at home. U.S. Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin announcing $42 million in federal funding for clean school buses. The money comes from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's Clean School Bus Grants. Peoria Public Schools District 150 was selected to get nearly $6 million to buy 15 electric environmental-friendly school buses. Lion Electric, a company based in Joliet, is manufacturing the buses with the hope that they will be more reliable and efficient.
Reliability of the vehicles should improve over a traditional, diesel or gasoline school bus. So the benefits are they're much cleaner to operate. There should be some cost savings in maintenance and fuel. And then the reliability of the vehicles should be greater than that over a diesel vehicle.
Collins says the new buses should arrive and be fully operational in early 2025.
Former President Donald Trump's legal team is trying to get federal charges against him dismissed by claiming he had presidential immunity. We'll have that story coming up.
And snow continuing to fall in central Illinois. It's going to be the last burst of snow with this system. Let's take a look at Viper radar. Starting to see some heavier bands working along the I-74 corridor, but it will come to an end soon. And the winds, well, they're going to be picking up. I'll have your forecast coming up next.
You're watching WMBD News, Central Illinois Proud, with Rebecca Brumfield, Thomas Garverick, and Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast. This is WMBD News at 5.
Good evening. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. 81 degrees in Peoria, partly cloudy skies, nice view from the Wayne Dalton camera. Clouds we do have should gradually dissipate after sunset. Low 80s and upper 70s throughout the region. Some of the cooler temps along Interstate 55, where we've had a little bit more cloud cover today. Those clouds will start to move out. Temperatures set to remain mild, though dropping into the 60s. But we've got some cooler weather on the way. I'll have that forecast coming up. WMBD News at 5 starts now.
Coming up at 5, a chocolate company bringing hundreds of jobs to Central Illinois. How this partnership will impact the Twin Cities. Also, a company breaking ground at a new space in Peoria, what it could bring for the area community. Then bringing awareness to a devastating disease. The symptoms to look out for. First tonight, 2 people are dead and 1 person is in critical condition after 2 separate shootings in central Illinois yesterday. The most recent being a 10-year-old boy who was killed in Peoria South Side just last night. We have team coverage on these homicides, starting with Ben Freeze, who was at the scene of last night's shooting, and he joins us from our newsroom now. So, Ben, what can you tell us about this homicide?
Yeah, Rebecca, city leaders in Peoria are now reacting to the city's latest homicide, a 10-year-old boy that was killed last night. Now, the shooting happened just after 7:30 last night in the parking lot of Cityscape Apartments just off of Romeo B. Garrett Avenue. When officers arrived, they found the boy with an apparent gunshot wound. He died at the hospital just half an hour later. 3rd District City Council member Tim Riggenbach spoke with me earlier today, and he provided this statement. It says, quote, "This is a reminder that in spite of our best efforts as a city, there's still work to be done. But it's just such a tragedy. My heart goes out to the family that's been affected by this." And Peoria Police Chief Eric Echeverria is not commenting on the incident. Peoria Mayor Rita Ali was not available for comment today. Rebecca?
All right, Ben, thank you so much.
Peoria Police say this is the city's 17th homicide.
That's all right, Ben. Thank you so much. We're going to turn now to the Twin Cities, where we're following up on a shooting that happened during Illinois State University's homecoming weekend. WMBD's Brianna Rittman has spoken to police there. So, Brianna, what more can you tell us about this?
Well, Rebecca, we want to first clear up earlier reports saying the shooting happened at a pop-up party. According to Normal Police, police heard shots just before 4 a.m. Sunday morning as they were dispersing a large pop-up party on North Main Street at Circle K. A few blocks away, 2 people who were struck by gunfire were located on North University Street. That's just about a 2-minute walk. Both 18-year-old males were taken to a local hospital. The McLean County coroner says 18-year-old Randall E. Glass of Oaklawn died. The other person is in critical condition. Normal Police say they want people to enjoy the town, but safety comes first.
We're fine with people having a good time in our community. We want people to enjoy our community, but also understand that, you know, these types of parties that are causing damage to property, traffic issues, obviously if there is people being hurt during the parties, we can't have that. And so that's the things that we need to focus on.
And according to ISU officials, neither victims are affiliated with the university. The shooting is under investigation by Normal Police, and if you have any information, contact them using the numbers at the bottom of your screen. Rebecca?
Brianna, thank you so much for that update tonight. And we are going to stay in the Twin Cities with our next story here. Ferrero cutting the ribbon for its first American Kinder Bueno production facility. The company broke ground 2 years ago on the 169 square foot facility, bringing in 200 new jobs, and the project cost $214 million. To celebrate the new milestone, the creator of Crunch, Nutella, and 100 Grand shared treat bags and ice cream for people to top off with their Kinder Bueno pieces. This ceremony comes less than 6 months after the chocolate company cut the ribbon for its first American chocolate factory located on the same site.
I'm sure all of the other companies that are investing in Bloomington are seeing the same things we are, which again, the combination of great employees, really good infrastructure, and proximity to major metro markets make it an absolutely ideal place to invest. So I have to imagine all of our other partners who are investing in the area are seeing the same things that we are.
The chocolate company also announcing an apprenticeship program with Heartland Community College. In a developing story now, Komatsu breaking ground on a new building right here in Peoria. WMBD's Jack Bozikas attended this groundbreaking and joins us live in studio to take us into that ceremony. Jack.
Yeah, Rebecca, the new Komatsu building will be located on Northeast Adams Street. They'll tear down the old Komatsu building, and then once this new building is built, the company will start assembling, manufacture, construction, mining, and military equipment.
1, 2, 3.
Komatsu broke ground on its new $30 million state-of-the-art building that will go right in Peoria's downtown. The new office building will provide a space for engineering, sales, management, and manufacturing. 3rd District City Councilman Tim Riggenbach says this new building will create more job opportunities for Peoria residents.
I think it's critical that as you look at the jobs that Komatsu offers, whether it's the welders in the shop or the engineers here in the new facility, there's a wide range of opportunities to help keep that brain going here in Peoria, and we're only excited about it.
The facility is expected to be up and running in the fall of next year. It's expected to feature environmentally friendly designs which meet Komatsu's sustainability initiatives. Rebecca?
Jack, thank you. Turning now to our health matters. After a recent former NFL player announced he has Parkinson's disease, we want you to know what to look out for. A week ago, former Packers player Brett Favre announced that he suffers from Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's is a brain disorder that impacts movement, mental health, and other aspects of neurology health. Now, we talked with a neurologist at Carle Health. Symptoms doctors look out for is when a patient has difficulty walking or speaking. But there's three big components when diagnosing Parkinson's disease.
It is characterized by predominantly three important symptoms or signs. One is we call bradykinesia, or slowness of movement. The movements are very slow. The other one is a tremor, which is abnormal movements, usually a rest tremor. The tremor happens when they are resting. The third thing is postural imbalance. So their posture is affected.
There is no cure for Parkinson's disease. However, there are medications that can alleviate some of the symptoms. And an update regarding Hurricane Helene. Ameren is sending crews to the East Coast to help out with damage. Ameren workers from Illinois and Missouri are headed out east to help repair damage and restore power. Roughly 120 Ameren workers and 210 contractors will assist crews from Appalachian Power and Charleston to West Virginia. The Edison Electric Institute's National Response Executive Committee declared a Level 1 national response event requesting any available resources in support of Hurricane Helene.
Well, things start to improve here in central Illinois. It was a beautiful day today. Here's a look at our almanac. We had a high of 83 degrees, 10 degrees above average, but cooler weather's on the way. Gonna feel it tomorrow. We'll have that forecast coming up next.
You're watching WMBD News, Central Illinois Proud, with Rebecca Brumfield, Thomas Garverick, and Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast. This is WMBD News at 5.
Conference titles on the line, perfect records on the line. Here we go. Let's visit the playoff picture, shall we? Last week we had 4 teams unblemished. Now we are just down to 2. Leroy and Farmington are looking to cap off a perfect regular season at 9-0. Lots of 7-1 teams hoping to build momentum into the playoffs. Princeville, Stark County, Elmwood, Brimfield, Eureka, Peoria High, and Normal Community. Then taking a look at 6-2 teams who have also punched their ticket. Bloomington High, Normal West, Metamora, Pekin, Washington, and U High. 5-3 teams who are playoff eligible, but a win and they're in for sure. Dunlap, El Paso Gridley, Bloomington Central Catholic, and Olympia. And here's where it gets interesting, folks. 4-4 teams who need a win to be eligible for a shot. Peoria Notre Dame, East Peoria, Morton, DMAC, and Prairie Central. I told you there will be teams leaving it out there all on the line tonight to keep their season going. We can't wait. All right, our Week 9 Spirit Poll is a dandy. Peoria High and Normal Community clash tonight for the Big 12 regular season championship. Scan that QR code on your screen there or head to our website, ciproud.com, to cast your vote. All right, now we head to our ciproud.com game of the week. Dunlap hosting Metamora. The Eagles need a win to clinch a playoff berth, and here's how the Eagles are preparing for the Redbirds.
Coach, Week 9.
Yeah.
Metamora coming in to town. I guess one question, how healthy are we?
We're slowly getting a little more healthy. I don't know if we'll be healthy by Friday night, but luckily the kids that have had major injuries are showing signs of improvement. Right. So that's all you want.
You know, 6-3 is a big difference between 5-4 for sure in the playoffs. So it's a key game for you. You know, you've stressed this for many years, the importance of running the ball. In the last 2 weeks, we've struggled running the ball.
There's no doubt when, like last week, when Johnny's out and, you know, you got to use Mac at quarterback, the back garners a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. And when he's outside of the box, it should lighten up the box. And when he's inside the box, it loads the box. And, you know, that's kind of what we saw. And, you know, it makes it tough. We got to be more physical and we got to be better.
Well, I think Friday night, I would hope the players are really looking forward to it. I think they're probably challenged to try to come out and play a full 48 minutes this week and give us a shot.
I think they'll give it their best effort Friday night. I think we'll have a good game Friday night.
I think we will too. So, well, thanks for your time, Coach. I appreciate it as
Thanks,
always.
Jack. Thanks for the season. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this is a big game for Metamora as well. The Redbirds are 6-2 and have already clinched a spot in the playoffs. A win at Dunlap tonight would give Metamora 7 wins and put them in position to host a first-round playoff game next weekend. Coach Jared Grebner knows his team will have to play well to get a road win.
Really good team. They're always well coached. They have weapons all over the field. You know, they're disciplined. It's the same old Dunlap with Coach Caslett. You know, they are a very good football team, and they're going to make you defend them from sideline to sideline. They got a good running game, and we're going to have to be ready to go on Friday.
It's a 7:30 kickoff tonight. Metamora at Dunlap. Watch that game on our website, ciproud.com. Now on to our Clutch Sports Game of the Week in another Mid-Illini matchup. Jonathan Michael and Teddy Ball break down what's at stake in the Morton-Washington game.
Jonathan Michael and Teddy Ball here of Clutch Sports Media getting you all set for your Week 9 WMBD Game of the Week. The final week of the regular season brings us to Babcock Field, where we have the Morton Potters facing off with the Washington Panthers. And Teddy, both these teams have so much to play for tonight.
They definitely do. Morton, they're fighting for a chance to get into the playoffs, obviously, but Washington, they have that goal of going undefeated in conference, but they also have a chance of just knocking off the chances of Morton getting into the playoffs. And with a rival like that, you definitely want to see it if you're Washington.
Definitely. Morton is 4-4 overall. They've won 3 straight. Their backs have been against the wall for the better part of the last month, and they've come up big every single time. Washington, 6-2 on the year, undefeated in Mid-Illini Conference play. Going to be a great matchup, but starting with Morton, Teddy, for them, it's a very creative football team that likes to get the ball in the hands of their best playmakers in any way possible.
They're really good at they're good at running the ball, and whether it's a running back or a receiver, they're very crafty with how they do it, and they've been effective all season long. Well, not all season long. Obviously, they started off a little slow, but since they've been needing to, they've been effective.
They certainly have, and sophomore quarterback Isaac Davis has been phenomenal as well. Translating over to Washington's side, again, for them, it's been a simple recipe for success. Run the ball well, play good defense, and it's taken the Panthers very far over the last few years.
It definitely has, and it's like their bread and butter every single season. It's like, how do you stop it? But they just do it so well every year. Hunter Reed has been phenomenal this season. Carter Prino on the defensive line that's been so dominant this year. Their secondary has just been, what we know of Washington each and every year, and they just keep it going.
Definitely playmakers, all 3 levels of the secondary. It's going to be a great matchup from Washington. We'll have the live broadcast tonight for you on ciproud.com. The link to that broadcast will also be at our website, clutchsportsil.com as well. For Teddy Ball, I'm Jonathan Michaels saying we will see you tonight for Friday Night Lights.
All right, gentlemen, thanks. And a programming change for us tonight. Normally, Game Day Live Overtime airs at 11 p.m. on WYZZ. With the World Series and college football on, we will be live streaming our 11 p.m. show on our website, ciproud.com, and on our WMBD WYZZ Facebook page as well. Make sure you catch us there tonight. And soon we're revealing the winner of this week's Spirit Poll. You can scan the QR code at your screen there or head to our website, ciproud.com, to make your pick. Make sure you do that. We'll be right back to Game Day Live.